You're listening to the Sporting Life Podcast, brought to you by the Outdoor Group Incorporated, a passionate sporting life company for passionate sporting life enthusiasts. Visit us at theoutdoorgroupinc.com. My daily shows bring you the best celebrity entertainment and all things hunting and fishing.
It's got the illuminated reticle. It's got the quick fast focus eyepiece. It's got the power control lever. Those are all really solid key points. I like the target turrets. For those of you that know how to use your turrets and those that want to learn, this is a great, simple way to go.
That's coming up right after we honor our great country with Daniel Rodriguez singing his inspirational rendition of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, our home, sweet
Welcome back to the Sporting Life Podcast. I'm your host, Bob Svetich. God bless America, and God bless all of you. We are bringing to you the best in celebrity entertainment and all things hunting and fishing every day at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to rate and review the Sporting Life Podcast, and don't forget to tell a friend about us. Now, in response to the number of inquiries I've received asking about the elk artwork that you see on this podcast, it is by renowned wildlife artist Ryan Kirby, and you can see more of his original oil paintings at ryankirbyart.com. Welcome back to the Sporting Life Podcast. I'm your host, Bob Svetich. Well, today is Saturday, and that means you're at the right place at the right time for our highly anticipated gear review episode. The products we talk about are voluntarily provided to us by companies in the outdoor space. We have not been hired by these companies to promote their products, nor do we act as their spokesperson. Our comments about the products we review are from our own personal experience using them in the field. We'll give our honest, unbiased opinion so that you can be a more informed consumer. Now, to introduce my co-host for this episode, and to give him the proper introduction that he has so deservingly earned. Tim, music, if you would please. He is a former bull rider, martial arts competitor including weapons tactics, a former hotshot firefighter, successful entrepreneur, passionate hunter and fisherman, and the creator of an upcoming television series with our military veterans. Please welcome to the show the gear guru himself, Jason Svetich. Okay, it is Saturday, and you are at the right place at the right time for our highly acclaimed gear review episode with our gear guru himself, Jason Svetich. Jason, welcome back to the show.
Oh, great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So, Jason, what do you have for us this week? You know, I was thinking, before you get into it, I was thinking last week we had a great episode, and I'm looking forward to learning what you have for us this week. And once we get into it, I've got a couple of questions I want to throw out at you. But let's first start with what you have for us, Jason.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great. This week I'm pretty excited. We have an optic in, and I always like playing with optics, especially rifle scope optics. So we got sent a AR platform scope from Vista Outdoor. And for those of you who have not heard of Vista Outdoor, they are a rather large company based out of Utah that has a large portfolio of brands and product offerings. And it's really something, when you go to their website, you can choose from just an array of stuff to look at in the outdoor world. And so today they sent us a Bushnell AR optic scope. So this scope here came in a 1x4 by 24 millimeter. It's an illuminated reticle, which I really like, and this one is specific to the 300 blackout.
Jason, let me take you back a step. So Vista Outdoor sent you a Bushnell scope. So is Bushnell one of their brands? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Yeah, that's one of many of their brands. They also sent a rail out for this particular scope, a Weaver rail. So Weaver is one of their brands. Bushnell, they have many, many more that you can choose from. And it's really nice. On the website, you can just click right on one of the brands that they are affiliated with, and it will take you directly to that company's web page to browse what they offer. And so today, from Vista Outdoor, we received a Bushnell 300 blackout AR platform scope.
Oh, fantastic. So share with us, if you would, a little bit about this scope. And did you have a chance to use it on a particular firearm, and what was your experience like?
Yes, absolutely. So this scope, the AR guns and scopes are beginning to be really popular amongst hunters, especially the varmint hunters. And that's one thing I liked about this scope for a varmint hunting type situation or a tactical practice type situation. This is a nice scope to have. This one here, again, is a 1-to-4 power. It's got an illuminated reticle, and it is specifically designed for the 300 blackout cartridge. This scope has target turrets, which are nice. You can adjust on the fly depending upon what you're needing to accomplish there. On the illuminated reticle side, it's got from 1 to 11 brightness settings, depending upon how dark it may be outside or what the light conditions are. It's got a fully multi-coated lens, which allows for high contrast images with the least amount of eye strain, which, of course, that's always helpful. This particular scope here has argon purged fog proofing, which is an improvement over the traditional nitrogen purging, which delivers the ultimate in long-term waterproofing integrity. So nice for an outdoor hunting scope. It's got some neat features. This particular one here has what they call their power control lever, which is a lever that lays flat against the optic, and then you can flip it out and use it as a quick to move back and forth from 1 to 4 power. And in hunting, coyotes, predators, that kind of thing, that could be really a useful tool if you're sitting on a call and you've got one that comes in close. And you want to back off to 1 or 2 power, and then you notice that you have another coyote out at a couple hundred yards. You can turn that lever nice and quick and easily up to 4 power and get that done. As well as this has a fast focus eyepiece, which is again really nice when you're doing the same thing. When you're going from 1 to 4 power, your focus is going to change rapidly, and so this has a good, quick, fast eyepiece to change and adjust with your power setting.
Jason, do you know what this scope is capable of doing in terms of yardage? I mean, does it go out to 300, 400, 500 yards? What's the and did you shoot? At what yardage did you shoot this scope?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the nice thing about this particular scope is that it is designed specifically for the 300 blackout, which I really like. I mean, you can nowadays you can fine tune that way. You can put a specific type of optic for the caliber and cartridge you're using. This one here is designed even more specific than that. They have it. It comes with a nice set of instructions on how to operate it, and they've got it set up to use for either subsonic loads or supersonic loads. And so depending upon which route you take there will determine, how far you're going to do for your sighting in and how far you're going to inevitably be able to, shoot it at the last dot here. So it's a system that when you're at one power, you see just a circle in your reticle, and that's kind of like you're right on with that circle once you've sighted in. Once you move up to 4 power, it brings that reticle a lot bigger, and you can see 3 other dots. So now you have your center dot, your second dot down, and your third dot at the bottom, which equates into yardages because it's designed specifically for the 300 blackout cartridge. So when you're utilizing that, you can be specific on this, which at the end of the day gives you a lot faster follow-up shots at multiple yardages. And so, yeah, it's really something. When we took it out, I went out coyote hunting with it after sighting in. We sighted in at the range, of course, started with a bore sight, went back to 100, got it dialed in, and I was impressed at how well it was really working. It was a nice scope to use and to sight in. And then when we went out to have some fun, like I said, having that power control lever, the fast focus eyepiece, those were really handy. And then that illuminated reticle made it really nice too as we got, closer to evening.
So you actually took it out coyote hunting? How did you get any, or how was that experience?
Yeah, we did. In fact, I like to coyote hunt, so we typically do that frequently and keep the predator control population down. And so we did. We took it out. We were able to get a couple coyotes. And like I said, I really was able to use the scope the way it was designed when we were hunting. It was nice at the range, and we had fun and got to kind of learn the optic. And then when we took it out, I got to use, the different things like the fast focus eyepiece and what have you to really, see how it would act in real situation. And it was nice. It was a great feature that I was appreciative they had on there. This scope also has what you can do is it's called a realign to zero. So once you've sighted in, you can actually take your turrets, unscrew the Allen wrench there, remove it off the turret itself, drop it back down onto zero, and then you're set up as a sighted in, whatever you sight in at, 100 yards, you're set up at zero on the turret, and that would give you, from there forward, the ability to change your adjustments and always come back to where you were at your 100-yard zero or whatever yardage you chose to sight in at.
So in your experience with the scope, using the scope, whether it was on the range or hunting with it, did you find that the looking through the scope, the optics itself, was it a clear day, by the way? Was it sunny or was it cloudy? Do you remember?
No, we had a sunny day. We had some in and out clouds, but no, it was mostly a sunny day. And, I didn't have any trouble with that at all. I mean, this was a good, clear, crisp picture, and it worked well.
What about mounting this scope? Was that a problem? Was there any difficulty in mounting that scope to your AR?
No, there really wasn't. That Weaver rail that they sent us, or that it really just, it's a quick detach, which I really like, especially in AR situations. Prior to putting this setup on, I had a night vision setup on the AR, so I was able just to remove that and mount this right on, and it was a quick and easy way to go and go on with my daytime hunting. So really easy to mount. Comes with a great set of instructions pertinent to this particular scope, which was nice because, like I say, you can use it for subsonic or supersonic loads in the 300 blackout, which is nice how they tell you right here what's the best way to go about sighting it in for those specifics. So yeah, we had a great time with it. I was very pleased, and the coyote hunting was fun, like I said, because you were able to use this scope as it was designed. Another neat feature on this power control lever is it's got a little O-ring on it. So if you're kind of in a hurry doing things and you're slapping it down to keep it flush with the scope, that O-ring acts as a buffer so that you don't scratch up the optic or make any noise in a hunting situation. It's quiet that way. Very easy to use. I was very happy with it.
You know, it reminds me of a story. I was hunting in Arizona. I think I was hunting javelina, but we'd taken a break, and so we went out and went coyote hunting. And I remember the outfitter I was with was calling these coyotes, and one came so close, and I can't remember what distance the scope was set up for. Let's just call it 100 yards. But this one coyote, he came in so close, I couldn't see him in my scope. And when you said how nice this scope is, this Bushnell scope, whereby you can adjust that quickly, I wish I had that scope that day, because I could not get a shot off on that coyote that was so close I couldn't even really tell in my scope.
Yeah, that's so true. And anybody that spends enough time coyote hunting has ran into that same thing. And that is what is a really nice feature with this. And when you have that illumination on, it really makes a difference when you're going from 1 to 4 power and then adjusting your eye focus with that fast focus eyepiece, which is just a great combination. And just to let everybody know, the MSRP on this is $386.95. So you're getting a great deal there for a scope that's going to perform well. It's just a nice package.
So let's take an overview of this scope, Jason. You have, again, being the gear guru that you are, you've got a ton of scopes. How does this one rate with all of the other scopes that you've ever used?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I am always going to say that I am a fan of specifics. So for this specific application, for a coyote hunt with a 300 blackout, this was a great choice. It's got the illuminated reticle. It's got the quick fast focus eyepiece. It's got the power control lever. Those are all really solid key points. I like the target turrets. For those of you that know how to use your turrets and those that want to learn, this is a great simple way to go. I like a scope that's suitable for each situation. This one, you could use from low light in the morning to low light in the evening, and then obviously you would have to switch to a night vision or a thermal if you were going to continue hunting coyotes into the evening. But in terms of rating it, I'd say it's right up there with any of the others I've used.
Mm-hmm. So really then no downside, would you say? Or if there is, share that with us. Any downside at all?
To be honest with you, the only downside that I would ever say with this particular scope was the target turrets. When you want to do your realign to 0, you have to use that Allen wrench key to remove the cap and then come back down onto 0, which is really not that big of a deal. But there are some brands that have a little quicker, simpler return to 0. So that'd be the only one thing, but not a big deal. You can do that in the field, and that's what we did, and things have worked out just fine with it. So
fantastic. Well, now what I want to know is why the heck didn't you call me when you went coyote hunting? I would have loved to come out with you.
Well, I tell you what, I'll hang on to this scope a little while longer, and we'll get out and we'll do some coyote hunting.
There you go. All right. So, Jason, let's give our listeners the Vista Outdoor website. Do you have that?
You betcha, absolutely. So you're just going to want to go to vistaoutdoor.com, and that's vistaoutdoor.com. Very simple to use, and a lot of information to see.
Okay. Thanks so much, Jason.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Well, that wraps it up for today's show, but before I put out the campfire, I want to remind you all that you can hear a new episode of the Sporting Life podcast every day at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. If you happen to miss an episode or want to hear an episode again, or want to download and share an episode, which you're welcome to do, you can find the Sporting Life podcast on the Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout.com, or Stitcher.com. But most importantly, subscribe to the Sporting Life podcast so every new podcast can be delivered right to your computer or any mobile device. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. for another entertaining episode of the Sporting Life podcast, the best podcast for hunting and fishing entertainment. I'm your host, Bob Svetich, saying thanks for listening, and please remember to always be a good steward of our land and water.